Cars rolling off of pit road onto the racetrack. Let's take a look at today's starting grid for the Dover 200. Looking for his 4th consecutive win in the Busch Series, Ryan Newman alongside championship leader Martin Truex Jr. Reed Sorensen is in row 2 with J.J. Yaley. Row 3, Clint Bowyer 2nd in the championship standings, and Brian Vickers.
Back in row 4, Regan Smith. Next, Kenny Wallace loves this place. Aaron Crocker in row 5 alongside Denny Hamlin. Rusty Wallace and Jason Leffler round out row 6.
In row 7, Paul Menard and Matt Kenseth. Ashton Lewis Jr. is in row 8 with Sterling Marlin. And in row 9, Carl Edwards and Greg Biffle. And as we go through the starting grid, BP, why don't you see if you can get Greg on the radio there?
I was trying. Greg Biffle, BP, you got me?
I got you, BP.
All right, Greg, which is more important, trying to win this race today or learn something for tomorrow's Nextel Cup race?
Well, absolutely, BP. Learn something for tomorrow's Nextel race is our important thing here, and just have a little bit of fun. I love driving these cars, and just you get the United States Post Office, hopefully a top 5 run here, and we'll see what we can do.
How was your car for tomorrow's? Looked like you struggled in that last practice session.
BP, my car was pretty dang good. It's just that we're not running one fast lap. But on the lap tracker, we look like about a top 5 car, so we're feeling pretty good about tomorrow, but just a little bit too loose to run that one fast lap to get up there on the board.
Well, good enough. Good luck today, Greg.
Thank you.
Cars circling the track, getting up to temperature. Ryan Newman and Martin Truex Jr. on the front row. The field slowly moving through turn 3 and 4. This a 1-mile high-banked concrete racing surface. Ryan Newman and Martin Truex Jr. on the front row. A lot of eyes will be on Aaron Crocker driving for Ray Evernham, starting near the front in this race, breaking from the 9th position. We'll see what happens.
The 6 car did not get off to a particularly good start. She's on the bottom of the racetrack, just can't move that car up, and cars are just going by on the outside, freight training her.
And she lost about 10 spots. Oh, we got trouble coming off of 2 already.
Matt Kenseth is around a hard hit. Kenseth took a hard hit.
Oh,
it's somebody on the head.
Donnie Nuremberg at 52 goes tumbling down the backstretch and then in the inside wall.
Sauter involved in it, and that the thing about this racetrack is
We are destroyed.
It's like a pinball. When they start wrecking, there's just nowhere to go.
And you can see Donnie moving around inside of that car. It's Randy LaJoie in the 34 pulling away. Sauter in the 1, Kenseth in the 17. Looks like Jeff Burton in the 21 car.
Watch the 11. He drives down underneath the 17, the Matt Kenseth. He just touches him coming off the corner. Kenseth does everything he can to save it, and then here comes the rest of the field, and forget it. Johnny Sauter got hit hard.
We talked about it earlier in the day. There is nowhere to hide when trouble breaks out here. If you're behind it, you're probably going to be in it.
Johnny Sauter goes to the bottom of the racetrack, and that turned out to be exactly the wrong place to be. Look at Neuenberger just flipping over the back of, let's see what car that is.
Boy, John Wood did a good job getting through there. I don't think John got much damage, but here all these cars, they see what's happening. The 21 gets turned.
Michael Waltrip into the wall.
Yep. That backstretch, when they start wrecking back there, man, it is just, it's tough because the car can bounce in front of you just like it did Johnny Sauter. You see Sauter down there on the low side. I mean, it's just got nowhere to go. You can't get away from a wreck on the backstretch.
And we heard Sauter say on his radio, we are destroyed, and he's right, they are hurt badly.
Now on board with Carl Edwards.
Good job, good job.
Oh, man, that was a great job.
And and you know, you're driving these cars are just so on the edge, getting off the corners, getting in the corners. It just takes a touch to get somebody out of shape.
Matt Kenseth's telling Jeff Burton what happened. Came off the corner and said, I almost had it saved, but I just couldn't catch up with it.
And these drivers want to race so hard in these races. Go ahead.
And Childress, you don't want to put an experienced guy in there because it's Dover, and sometimes it doesn't matter how much experience you have because Jeff Burton's out on lap 3.
Like Mark Green walking away from the wrecks. Yes.
Randy LaJoy climbs out of his car. And these teams that have worked so hard, not only here at the track, but getting their cars ready at the shop.
Trying to look at the damage and see. And the NASCAR has thrown the red flag to stop the cars from going around while all the wreckers and the safety equipment are on the backstretch.
Michael Waltrip walking away from his car. So an early caution, spectacular ride for some of these guys. Ryan Newman scored as the race leader. The race red flagged early here at Dover.
In that 8 car really wants to lead a lap because it pays 5 bonus points for leading a lap. And he wants desperately to get them, but the way the 39 car is running, that might be a struggle.
Newman has won the last 3 Busch races he has been in, going for his 4th consecutive Busch Series victory. He's also on the pole for the Nextel Cup race here tomorrow.
Looks good down on the bottom. Got it right down on the bottom through the corners.
Allen on Truex Jr.
Hey, Bill, would you believe in that 2 laps that we ran before the crash of the red flag? Martin Truex already gave a diagnosis to his team on his car's handling. They're already thinking about adjustments they want to make on their next pit stop.
They know in a hurry, don't they?
Yeah, it only took him about a lap to figure it out. He used the T word. You know what that word means?
Tight?
Yeah.
And normally you can make that observation after 2 laps if the car's really bad. Doesn't look too bad, though.
As you can see, Martin has won 6 times this year.
He's had an outstanding season, but has seen his point lead shrink to just 69 points. Losing 25 of those as a penalty from NASCAR for a hand gesture at Richmond.
Aaron Crocker going by a car, trying to go by the 72 car.
Oh, there she goes.
Oh! Justin Labonte in the 44.
Here we go again.
Yeah, hard to left side.
It looked like the 44 got into the left for a quarter panel of Aaron Crocker.
Joey Kaufman was in it.
She seemed to be having a hard time on the restarts. Once she got a few laps after the restart, she got into the groove, but like she got turned on that one.
She'd fallen back to the 22nd position. You can see that Kyle Busch was in it as well.
And, you know, and like I said, it doesn't take, that's all you have to touch a car on this racetrack to get them sideways and wreck them. I mean, you almost have to, if you can look at the left rear quarter panel the wrong way, it'll spin out.
I could take my hand and hit that quarter panel at that point, and the car would spin.
These cars are on the edge so much through the corners here, it just takes a little touch.
And I'll tell you what, she goes down and hits that inside wall awfully hard. Joel Kaufman in the 12 car.
Watch for the 47 car.
He's got
Sean Wood.
4 cars behind this, and Sean's getting a lot of practice driving through wrecks today.
There he goes. Oh, he goes right between them, and the hole closes once he gets through.
He's on board with Aaron.
Get inside, clear.
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, hard the left side.
Not very happy. But you take some hard hits in these race cars, and that camera shot shows you.
See Joel Kaufman walking away from his wrecked 12 car.
Busch is in that too.
The second, he was involved in the first crash. They came in and fixed the right front fender. He had to restart at the rear of the field, making the pit stops, and was involved once again.
But Ryan Newman has led all 68 laps so far today. We worked lap 69 of 200 here at Dover. That basically tells you the story. The two early cautions. 12 cars out of the race. And right now only 17 cars on the lead lap with 130 laps to go. And Ryan Newman is just catching them every lap.
Next car is Seitz, Jason Keller in that 35 car right there, the McDonald's car. He's running in the 17th spot, ready to be put one lap down.
And Newman is on the pole for tomorrow's race here as well. Reed Sorensen, third in the championship standings, Matt.
Having a great run, trying for a second straight top 5 here at Dover, but the concern for Reed, you can see on the front grill, Bill, a small piece of paper. He was concerned about the temperature since it's climbed well over 240 degrees. Jimmy Elledge says, don't be concerned. We're getting closer and closer to pitting. We'll knock that off. You'll be okay.
Even the smallest piece of trash can make a difference. Rusty Wallace in the 64 under Greg Biffle. More on Rusty from Marty.
And you can hear Rusty's enthusiasm every lap. He's on the radio saying, man, this car's getting better. And he came on and gave one of BP's best quotes. We're going somewhere. Rusty going to the front with a very fast race car. In fact, for most of these laps in this run, here late in the run, he's been the fastest car on the racetrack.
Up to 6th. And you've been watching the
Scoring monitor,
yes.
and I noticed that Rusty Wallace has been fast.
And where he looks like he's fast right there, looking back at Biffle, is when he gets on the throttle, he stays on the throttle and gets after hard. Where it looks like Biffle's got to get off the throttle a little bit, like maybe his car's got a little bit of a push.
That last lap, Rusty Wallace faster than the leader, Ryan Newman.
Right on board.
Looking about 25 laps to a stop here.
Rusty Wallace starts 6th here tomorrow.
But the other Wallace is not doing so well, is he, Matt?
BP, the Wallace brothers going in opposite directions. Now, Kenny had a great run going, but he is faded out of the top 10. Currently 12, says the car is getting tight on exit and getting tighter and tighter with each lap they run.
And that's not good, Matt, because
It's not, BP.
the tighter they get, the more pressure they put on that right front tire. It always makes me nervous when you run 70, 80 laps here about those right front tires.
You worry that
They might get too hot and lose all the air rapidly. That's called a blowout.
and the next sound you hear is the car hitting a wall.
That's right. You hear boom and then crash.
And you look at how the helmet in these cars are just really pressed up on the headrest here, because you really get thrown to the right side of the car on this racetrack. G-forces.
24 degrees of banking in the turns here.
And can I say it was rough too?
Yes.
By the way.
That's looking out the left rear springs of the 59 car.
It's actually the rear end.
Rear end housing. This is, we always talk about the gear. There's the gear is in there that determines the ratio. This little pump that you see there is pumping the fluid out of this housing that goes up into a small radiator and cools the fluid. Here is the drive shaft from the transmission. The right rear spring, we always talk about rubbers, taking a rubber out. The red thing that you see there is a piece of rubber that goes inside that spring
rubber, yep,
to increase the spring rate. Shock absorbers. And we talked about That's the oil reservoir. What is that?
Yeah, oil tank.
Oil reservoir.
Right.
We're talking about the fluids in the gear being cooled. Those are the lines that take it to and from the cooler. Always talk about trailing arms. The rear trailing arms, this whole piece comes back around and goes up and hooks by the transmission. And it doesn't take much damage in the right rear to bend those things.
Does this track rattle your teeth?
Yes, it does. This is and that's before they lasered it or whatever they did to make it smoother.
Yeah.
But you can watch by this shot how rough this racetrack is, and you're feeling it.
That camera pans.
See now, see this little chain there? That is very, very important part of the race car. That little chain, folks, because when they jack the car up to change the left side tires, that chain pulls the left rear off the ground.
All that going on Stacy Compton's car. He runs in the 15th spot.
As he gets put a lap down right there by Ryan Newman.
And there's Martin Truex Jr. in the 8 car. He runs second. Again, Newman has led all 77 laps. Still under green here at Dover. Ryan Newman continues to lead by 0.8 of a second over Martin Truex Jr. Green flag pit stops beginning to start here. Carl Edwards is headed toward Marty Snyder.
Yeah, and they were really, really loose to start this run, Bill. They got tighter the longer they went, but Carl said, you know what, it got tight too late in the run. We just lost way too much time early in that run, so they're going to make a host of changes here. A pound in the right front tire of the 60 car, down on the track bar. They're also going to pull a spring rubber from the right rear. That's why you see it taking longer on the right side of the car, and the front tire changer already over to the left side so quickly. So the left side tire is going on now. Carl in this car to tighten up in the middle of the run, taking a long time too on the left rear, Matt.
Kelly Wallace, another contender on pit road. Chassis adjustment already completed on the AutoZone Ford. Good news, big guy Steve Hellwig, longtime member of this team, back with his team. Kenny is away.
Looks like they had some trouble with the lug nuts there on that pit stop of Carl Edwards, the right rear.
Not only did he take a spring rubber out, he also some lug nuts dropped off. He had to pick up off the ground and reinstall on the wheel stud.
Went from long to longer.
Yeah. It won't be too long we'll be seeing these fellas make their pit stops because we're out of fuel momentarily.
Alan, how about that 39 car?
We can go 2 more laps.
About 2 more laps. and what the other thing that's going on right now, Martin Truex Jr. just radioed to his crew chief Kevin Mannion. Can we stay out longer than the 39 to try and lead a lap for bonus points? Kevin said back, we'll see how long it takes him to pit on fuel.
Well, we know the answer. Here comes Rusty Wallace.
Number 39 pitch this time.
Boy, if you stayed out though, ran out of fuel for those 5 points, that would hurt. That would hurt.
Man.
Rusty Wallace down pit road at 35 miles per hour. Marty, he's all yours.
After starting 11th and falling back, somewhere around 17th, Rusty made his way back up to 6th, Bill. They asked him, you want any changes? He said, no way, man. This car is unbelievable. It's going to be 4 tires, no changes. Dave?
Greg Biffle wants some changes. Gasman Scott Huffman carried a fuel can plus a wrench out with him. They put it in the rear window. That will adjust the chassis, making this car a little tighter from the center off of the corner. Alan.
And here comes Ryan Newman, who has led every lap in this race so far. The condition on his car, what Ryan describes as a level 1 tight, means he wants a little help with the car turning. You see they made a wedge adjustment in the right rear of the car. It'll be a 4-tire change for the leader, Ryan Newman. Coming in shortly behind him will be the championship leader, Martin Truex Jr. We'll let the boys upstairs decide if he led a lap to collect those bonus points. Big changes on this car for Truex Jr. They're going to make an air pressure adjustment. They're going to do a wedge adjustment as well, I believe. And you see Truex now getting his 4 tires. He's been running second the entire race, but just doesn't have enough to do anything with Newman in front of him so far. Now the question is, if they get enough caution laps, do they go from here to the finish?
Yeah, and if they got enough fuel in as well.
And they did get the 5 bonus points, AB, for leading a lap. Big for the 8 bunch.
And the 2 cars stayed out and led a lap and got 5 bonus points. But my question is the car running? I think he might have run out of fuel. Marty.
BP, the car is running for
Okay,
Clint
good.
Boyer. No problems there. They did want to get the bonus points, trying to keep pace with Martin Truex Jr. Extremely tight at the end of that run. So tight, I can't drive it. Pound on the right front, pound in the right rear. Also a wedge adjustment for the second place man in Busch Series points.
I saw him slow in the backstretch. I guess now he was just slowing down to make a pit stop, and I was really concerned that he had run out of fuel.
I was with you, BP. I thought he ran out also.
Rusty Wallace goes by Clint Boyer. Brian Vicker's right behind him, so he's going to fall back to about 5th or 6th.
And it may be because he slowed down too soon getting to the pit entrance, because I watched, like, Reed Sorensen made up a lot of time on looked like Truex getting into the pit lane. He made up about 6 car lengths. Almost wrecked getting in, but he pulled it off.
J.J. Yaley had to come back to pit road for a loose lug nut.
And there is the leader, Tony Raines, the 33 car. But obviously he's slowing down now to make a pit stop.
Jason Keller also got 5 bonus points for leading a lap. And you talked about Boyer coming to pit road, Benny.
He slowed on the backstretch, but when he got to this point, he was going too fast. Had to slam on the brakes, slide the tires, and almost hit that commitment line cone. And we know what happens then. You get black flag.
Some of these guys that have managed to stay out did pit under the early cautions, but it has cycled back now to Ryan Newman is chasing Martin Truex Jr. for the lead. And Newman's got it back.
And at this point, Truex Jr. in the A car has to look at the big picture and realize Ryan Newman has nothing. He's just here trying to win the race. The A car is trying to win the battle and the war being the Busch Series championship.
So when you follow a car like that, like Truex is following Newman, you know how good.
Oh, yeah, it makes you mad. I mean, because you're sitting there following a car, and you're going to say, okay, well, I'm just going to follow him, and his car stays on the bottom, and your car starts sliding up the racetrack. I mean, there's nothing you can do about it, but it's frustrating when you're in that position. Then you start driving the car harder. Then you start over-driving the car to try to compensate for that, and that's when you finally, like you guys were saying, BP, the big picture is, hey, let me just ride here and keep them in sight, and hopefully the guys I'm racing championship don't show up in my mirror.
Jeff Fuller, Aaron Fike, too fast exiting pit road, will have to make a pass-through penalty. Marty, you got something on Rusty?
Well, there's been some talk, Bill, that Rusty was possibly dragging something on the racetrack. You see little sparks come out as he goes into turn 1. Just slow air pressure. Steve Darn, the crew chief, tells me nothing to worry about. They will do this for a few laps, and no concern for Rusty.
Newman has recaptured the lead with Truex behind him. Sorensen is 3.6 seconds behind the race leader running in 3rd. Rusty Wallace 4th, Clint Boyer 5th. I've always believed that the guys, the Nextel Cup guys that run the Busch Series, that it helps them, that it gives them more seat time, especially on these companion weekends at a track like Dover. If nothing else, helps you with your rhythm, let alone maybe your car setup. Marty?
Yeah, and Bill, I talked to Rusty about that very subject right before he got in the car. He said, you know, especially here at Dover, he said, this track does not change from today until tomorrow. He said, in fact, we're running the same exact setup in this car that we're running in my Cup car. In most places, we can't do that. So definitely, he said, today is a huge help, especially for a man that's chased, trying to win a championship in his last season like Rusty Wallace.
And I think that last long green flag would have to help Rusty Wallace, Greg Biffle, guys that are going to race tomorrow, Ryan Newman, to know exactly what the track is going to do on an extended run.
We've got our leaders are in a little bit of traffic right here.
Regan Smith in the 58, Stremme in the 14. Ryan Newman leads. That 39 car, Truex Jr. second.
I think Newman's going to try to wait for Stremme to go through. I mean, his car works on the bottom. That's been obvious all race long, but let's try the top.
This is where you have to have some patience, but these leaders are so fast. You have to watch out for the cars that are slower off the lead lap. Ryan Newman continues to lead here at Dover in the Dover 200. Martin Truex Jr. runs second. Reed Sorensen is third. A developing story on the 57 car, Brian Vickers, down to the birthday boy, Alan Bestwick.
You're not going to sing to me, are you?
I guarantee you're not, and I'm not going to let Benny sing either.
No guts, no guts. Brian Vickers is hoping for a caution because they don't think they got the car full of fuel. This is the nozzle that goes on the end of the gas tank they use to put gasoline in the car. This piece is supposed to push open the dry brake cover and allow the fuel to flow into the machine. It broke on the nozzle. There was gasoline spilling everywhere, but it wasn't going into the race car. They need a caution because they don't know if they've got it full.
That broke on the second can, Alan?
I believe so, yeah, it was.
Yep.
Yeah, if it broken on the first one, he probably would have been run out of fuel already. I guess they could have put another can.
Or gone to the second can.
On the second can,
Yeah.
there you go. But they couldn't go the second can because it was empty.
Yeah.
Meanwhile,
back at the ranch.
Yeah.
Ryan Newman is just having his way with these drivers.
And that's Carl Edwards, right? He's closing up on there.
It is in the 60 car, currently running in the 11th position.
So when Ryan Newman passes Edwards, there will be just 10 cars on the lead lap. Remember, Edwards had that long pit stop. We got the spring rubber, then had a lug nut issue. Car slow up in turn 2. Steve Grissom.
Vickers needed.
And the caution is out. Well, that was just under 100 laps. Green flag racing. So Steve Grissom very slow.
That's damage to the rear of that car, but I don't know if that was from something earlier or
Easily could have been. 125 laps complete. About to be 126. Green is out at Dover. So Ryan Newman's car was really good. And then the crew got to work on it.
So we'll find out if they did the proper work.
And if they did,
that could bode bad news for the 8 car, yeah. Martin Truex.
Stacy Compton in the 59 is the first car, a lap down. That's Reed Sorensen in the 41. Running third. Looking inside of Stacy. Compton looking to close the door.
Oh, that was close.
John Wood in the 47, also a lap down.
Right behind States Compton. He knows that. He needs to get that spot. If he wants to be the lucky dog, he gets underneath him going into 3. Whoa. Oh, slides up the racetrack.
And Greg Biffle, that 66, is saying, come on, guys, don't wreck now.
They almost did.
Wow. Like I said. And you're right. They almost did.
Stacy did a good job hanging on to that one.
Jason Keller in the 35 inside of Compton. Denny Hamlin in tow.
All those cars on the lead lap. I guess Keller is not, is he?
No.
No.
16th, 16th, one lap down. And this is Compton and John Wood.
A little bump behind by your teammate. Boy, that makes the meetings on Monday uncomfortable, doesn't it?
I don't think it's going to take till Monday.
Is he in the garage after the race?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's in the trailer.
Ashton Lewis Jr. looking inside of Compton now. And that 25 Marines machine. Rusty Wallace in the 64 right behind this. Wallace runs 7th. Dave?
You saw Greg Biffle behind all that, right, Bill?
Yes, sir.
His comment on the radio, what was that? Newt Moore radioed back, his crew chief, that was the lucky dog fight you saw.
Yeah. You race hard for that position. It could mean a lot at the end of the day. Biffle currently 4th. You can see that sheet metal damage. Dave told us that they did try and pound that in a little bit on the stop.
They didn't do a very good job.
No. Ryan Newman leads here at Dover by 9/10 of a second over Martin Truex Jr. Clint Boyer runs 3rd, then Reed Sorensen and Jason Leffler the top 5, 164 laps are complete. Newman will complete 165 this time by, and he has led 157 of those. He's going for his 4th consecutive win in his last 3 races. He's gone to victory lane. Watkins Glen, Michigan. Celebration on. And then under the lights at Richmond. Bristol, I'm sorry. He did not run at Richmond. And now looking for his 4th consecutive win. And he has been very dominant today.
But he has some cars back there. I don't know that Truex has anything for the 12 car, but I believe if the 2 of Clint Boyer could get up there with him, and also the 32 of Jason Leffler, both those cars have shown to have some speed today.
Well, just a couple of laps ago, Boyer was 3.2 seconds behind, and he's got a half a second off of that. Marty?
Well, Bill, here's a problem for Clint Boyer. They're very good in this part of the run, but the longer they go, the tighter that race car gets, and Clint was not happy with it at the end of the first run today. Clint finished 19th when he was here in June, and I talked to him this morning. He said, you know, I've matured as a race car driver, and this team has matured since we were here in June. Now we're a championship contending team. When we were here in June, we couldn't win or didn't deserve to win the championship. Now we do.
It's Curtis Davis in the 0 car that Clint Boyer's going by on the outside. There comes the 41, Reed Sorensen. But Matt, not too far behind Reed, is at 32. What's Reed saying?
Well, he's saying the car is still big-time loose, BP. You've got 1st, 2nd, 3rd in the points, running 2nd through 4th in the racetrack. And he's got the 32 of Leffler chasing him down earlier in this run. His lap times mirrored the leaders, but the car really off now.
How about the 32, Dave?
And he's just trying to fit in this top 5, Bill. Actually, that's what crew chief Todd Losey told me today, that Jason has done a great job of joining this team halfway through the season and just fitting in. He's been great to be around. He's given good input on the race car, and today it shows a good top 5 finish and good teamwork on this 32 car.
And you'll see a number of damaged cars running around the racetrack. 2 early cautions for multi-car wrecks. 14 cars are out of the race. Only 11 run on the lead lap.
Hey, what happened?
Race traffic.
I guess the 39 car's been held up by some race traffic. Truex has pulled up right on the back bumper.
And so has Boyer, though. Boyer's made up about 1.5 seconds just on that lap.
Alan, how about Truex?
Well, they'd really like to get another caution, Bill. There's an adjustment that they wanted to make on the last yellow. They decided not to at the last minute. About 5 laps into this run, they said, well, wish we'd done the track bar. Look at this. Is he going to get him in traffic?
Ryan Newman.
Go ahead. I was just saying, Newman slid up the racetrack. See if Truex can capitalize on that, but pulls him off.
Race traffic here is always a factor because there's just not that much room.
And now the 2 car, Clint Boyer, is hung up behind race traffic.
And that's going to cost him because he made up a lot of ground that lap before.
Got by
Kenny lost a little bit there.
Stacy Compton in the 59 car. The 2 to the high side and around. So while Truex has been chasing Ryan Newman, Clint Boyer in that 2 car has been charging forward. Here he comes.
And so far, it's a draw as far as points are concerned. Both these cars have led a lap today. They've both received the 5 bonus points. Now, if Boyer wants to beat the 8 car for the championship, he's got to get up there and pass him. And we see that time Truex was fast.
Well, that's because Boyer had to fight around the 59 and the 22 on that previous lap.
Yeah, the Boyer was about 3/4 of a second slower than those 2 cars on that lap because he had traffic to deal with.
And once again, Newman's, you know, we made this observation earlier. He seems to not, the 39 car doesn't run as well on the high groove as he does on the bottom. So when he runs across this slow traffic, it seems to bother him more than it does the 8 car Truex.
And there you see that lap, Boyer was quickest of the 3 cars in the top 3.
But the leaders had run up on the 40 car also,
Yeah.
and that held them up. Sterling Marlin in the 17th position. Now Boyer trying to get around Marlin. Looking inside of him. Trying to stick his nose under there going into 3. Sterling lets him go.
23 laps to try to catch the 8 car, Martin Truex.
And the big thing now, nobody between him and the 2 leaders. Marty?
And his silence on the radio. They're not saying a word to Clint Boyer. He asked for his lap times earlier. Then he asked him to stop calling his lap times. He is trying to track down the 8 car. Very aware that the fact that the man he's trying to pass is the man he's trying to beat for the championship. Clint drove this car earlier this year at IRP and finished second. Led the most laps that day. Felt like he let the team down. Today, he wants to impress the team and bring home a trophy from Dover. He's certainly faster, but guys, can he catch the 8 and the 39? That's the question.
He's making ground on him, but normally you can, you know, when you can see the car in front of you, all of a sudden you don't, you know where you're getting beat or where you're faster. So he has the advantage right now because he can try to change things a little bit and try to keep on catching that 8 car.
Meanwhile, here's a battle for the 4th position. The 32 of Jason Leffler has caught Reed Sorensen. Talked to the folks with this 32 car, and they did not have a sponsor. They decided to put Convoy of Hope on this car to bring everyone's attention to all the people down in Louisiana, Texas, Mississippi, Alabama. This week there's going to be a huge convoy going down with help for all those people.
And again, we send them our best. Ryan Newman has led 174 laps today. That's a new race record. Michael Waltrip had the previous record, Darrell Waltrip rather, 167 laps back in 1985. Darrell led 167 laps here.
Kind of looks like Newman. Just when he wants to turn the wick up, he can just do it.
And it looks like the 2 car Boyer, for you Boyer fans out in Kansas, looks like that charge has stalled.
As predicted from pit road. Truex working his way through traffic, following Newman.
Meanwhile, as they come off the corner, there we see the 32, Jason Leffler, on the inside of Sorensen, takes that 4th spot away.
Leffler 7th at California, 5th at Richmond. And has done a very good job in this car. You got more on Jason, Dave?
Yeah, just the fact that coming into this car halfway through the season, it took them a while to sort of get their stuff together, including the cars. And this car happens to be one that has worked very well for them. That got them a 7th place finish earlier in California.
And Dave, a good run will really help his confidence. It's been a tough year for him.
It has. Anytime that you're let go from a ride and then you're added to another ride, that sort of thing, you've just got to keep making laps. And you don't want to make it in the back of the pack. You want to keep impressing people, and this will show some people Jason Leffler hasn't lost a touch.
Running 4th at Dover. And what has been a difficult day for many drivers. Just 11 cars on the lead lap.
Mike Wallace, another car involved in that 3rd lap crash, had come back on the racetrack, and NASCAR is telling him he's too slow. He's going to have to take the car to the garage area. Well, all these guys are running out of laps. They expect to catch this 39 car. Of course, they might run 1,000 laps and no one would catch the 39 car.
Might run 400 tomorrow and not catch the 12 car with the same driver in it, Ryan Newman. Starts on the pole tomorrow for the NASCAR Nextel Cup Series race. The second race in the chase for the championship. John Wooden, the 47.
Carl Edwards directly in front of the 39 car in the 11th position. Not been a typical Carl Edwards day.
No.
Hey, Marty, what happened to Zukar?
As we talked about, BP, he came on in such a dejected voice that guys just too tight right now, cannot catch the 8 car.
He kind of knew that was coming, I think.
Yeah. Oh, he made up a lot of ground there for a while.
But that's what's critical about these long green flag runs that you will get at Dover. You want your car good the whole way through it whenever possible.
Although, again, he was fastest.
10 to go this time, buddy. 10 to go.
Last 2 laps.
The 2 car.
He's been the quickest car on the racetrack.
2 seconds behind the race leader. Alan, how about those front 2 cars?
Well, they are here today for very different reasons, Bill. I talked to Roy McCauley, Ryan Newman's crew chief. He said this effort today is 40% about helping develop new crew members for the future of Penske Racing, but 60% about finding things they can use to help Ryan Newman try and win the Nextel Cup. Newman starts on the pole tomorrow. This was not an impound race for the Cup Series. Things they learned today, they can put into play tomorrow morning in the garage before the start of that race.
And obviously Martin Truex Jr. is here to continue his pursuit of the Busch Series championship. Right now leads by 74 points over Clint Bowyer. Came in 69 points ahead. And he has a little bit of extra motivation because 25 of the points he lost at Richmond were a penalty from NASCAR.
Whoa, like you're getting a flat. 7 to go when you get here.
Who was that?
Like 2. 34, good lap. Probably start freeing up. Hopefully he'll make it.
Talking about a flat tire on the 8 car? The left rear flat?
The left rear looked, I mean, if you look at, they always look low from the cameras though, but the left rear looks like it. You see it right here. See how it looks like it's down, but those cars are really
Still looks good. 6 to go. Still looks low, but okay.
Yeah, look at it.
Yeah, that left rear tire is
going flat.
Alan?
That is what they're talking about, the left rear tire on the 8 car. Kevin Magnion's trying to coach Truex Jr. through to the finish. Just bring it home to him, bring it home safe. 6 laps to go. Boy, that's going to get nerve-wracking now.
Yeah, it is, AP. That thing is really losing air fast.
There's no way of the last 6 laps, is there?
You wouldn't think so.
Look at that.
It's getting flatter every lap. Just won't have any area in just a moment.
Still running good laps, though.
If the gets there, he's by himself. Nobody else is behind him for position. 5 laps to go. 5.
You stay out. Even if you think it's going flat, you don't come in with 5 to go.
He's going to make it. It's coming apart.
All right, he's slowing down. Here comes a 2. And it is coming apart. There he goes.
Martin Truex Jr. passed by the guy second in the championship standings. And Truex will have to come to pit road with 5 laps to go.
Oh, man. What a tough break.
So Clint Bowyer, who has worked so hard all day to try and catch the leaders, now is second and will be picking up point after point.
Left rear tire. Everyone else lift up.
Man, is this going to tighten it up or
You
what?
bet it is.
That's all. We talked about it. It only takes one race, one bad race, and this thing is back to even.
So Truex Jr. comes back out onto the track. And we'll see where he scored when he comes around.
That puts Bowyer in second place right now, right behind Ryan Newman. That would drop Truex to 12th or 13th or somewhere in there.
12th spot is what the computer is saying.
White flag, final lap here at Dover. Ryan Newman leads. There's Clint Bowyer in second. Right now, unofficially 29 points. Now 26 behind Truex Jr. Newman down the backstretch one final time. Been an outstanding run. starts on the pole here tomorrow. Off of turn 4, checkered flag is out for Ryan Newman, wins the Busch race at Dover.
218-250. Good job, guys. You too, Ryan. Excellent job. Well done, everybody.
Kenny Wallace, and there comes Martin Truex. A very, very disappointed Martin Truex.
Unofficially 12th.
What an awesome performance. 193 of 200 laps you led, Ryan.
That's a pretty good mixture.
Yeah, that is a good mixture. A lot of different colors in that. An impressive run for you, Ryan.
Great run for the Auto Dodge. Just got to thank everybody at Penske Racing, all the hard work that they do. Roy and all these guys do a great job, obviously, and just got
to wipe off the camera there.
All right. Just want to thank everybody back at Penske Racing at the shop. Those guys are doing an awesome job. Look forward to trying to do the same thing tomorrow. We'll just see if we can.
Yeah, when do we get to see you go for a 5th straight Busch Series win?
Charlotte, I think, is the next time we're going to pull it out of the garage.
Tell me you have this set up in the Cup car tomorrow. That was unbelievable today.
I won't tell you that, but
is it close?
You know, it's just happy to be running as fast as we are. I love this racetrack. It's a blast to drive. Martin put the pressure on there for a while, and the lap cars were hard to get around because they don't want to give up where they're positioned, obviously. So just happy to be winning the way we did.
4 straight Busch Series wins for Ryan Newman.
Thanks, Marty. Led 193 of the 200 laps. Take a look at the unofficial results from the Dover 200 this afternoon. Good run for Jason Leffler coming home 3rd.
And Rusty Wallace could not overcome the broken jack on the pit stop. Finishes 7th.
Looking for Truex Jr. There he is, 12th, 1 lap down.
And a lot of cars, 1 lap or more down here today at Dover.
2 multi-car wrecks early in the race. Put a lot of guys and 1 young lady back in the garage early.
And there we see Justin Labonte, Jeff Burton, Tim Sauter, all those guys involved in crashes. Mike Wallace, Green. Just about everyone from here on back had some damage to their automobile.
Donnie Neuenberger with a wild ride, upside down.